I was born in 1920 in Schellkrippen, Germany. I came over when I was 5 years old, and my dad met us in Ellis Island, and he was over here a year before we came over. So he had a job, and he was living with some people, and he met us on Easter Sunday. And he had little bunnies. They weren't live. There was kind of a little bulb on the end. You'd press it and they'd hop. But it ended up I had to go to the hospital. I had whooping cough. Well, they gave me a shot and I was okay. So it took about 6 weeks on the boat coming over, and my mother had 3 of us girls, Erica, Katie, and I. And we had a real nice trip, and I was happy to see my dad. Well, my mother was born in Schellkrippen, a little town, and the whole town was Catholic, and they had a big, beautiful church there, and every day they would all walk to the church, and we'd be nuns working in the fields. My dad's name is George Becker, and he married my mother. He met her in Germany. He was in the Army, and my mother was working in a hotel as a cook, and he came in there one day to eat, and he saw my mom, and I guess he asked her to go out, and next thing you know, they were married. That was in Germany. They were talking German, but they had to learn English because they had to have these citizens. And when they became citizens, all of us became citizens with them. I was the oldest, then Katie, my sister, then Erica, and then Charlie. We had a good time. Pop used to love to dance, and he had German records. Roll up the rug in the dining room, and friends would come in and we'd be dancing. He loved to sing too. He's a great singer. And we'd be dancing and having a lot of fun. It was a depression, and Mom and Dad, Pop was out of work. There was a German bakery in Oakley on Madison Road, and they knew them. So they would have him come in when the bakery was closed, and they'd wash down wells, and they would give Mom and Pop, you know, bread and rolls and things to take home. Well, when I lived in York Street, we used to play kick the can, and we had a lot of fun. And I remember I took care of my little brother, and my dad always would give him one of these burr haircuts, and they'd call him Strawberry Head because he had all this, and I'd fight for him, you know. He was my brother, and I really would fight for him. And we had a lot of fun in the West End. And then as I got older, I used to walk down to the Coney Island to catch the Coney Island boat, and we dance on the boat. We have a lot of fun. And growing up also, we used to go to All Park, and they had wonderful orchestras up there. And you stand around, the boys would ask you to dance for a nickel. They had to pay. My dad wanted me to meet German boys, and we used to go to the Hotel Alms, and they had German dances there. He'd dance with us, and he'd go, "It's my daughter." He was a pistol. And as I grew older, I had a girlfriend. Her name was Florence, and the Rad's Field was down there. And every Thursday they had Ladies' Day, and her and I would go down to the ball game. We really enjoyed that. And then we'd say, "Can we watch your car, mister?" They'd give us a nickel at that time. And Pop, they'd have a Holy Name parade, and Pop used to make home brew, and he would invite a lot of the guys in to have a drink, and it was a lot of fun. And as we grow older, my dad got a job in Oakley. We moved into Oakley, and that's where I grew up. Used to get 25-cent passes for the streetcar, and we could ride all day on Sunday, and we'd go up the incline and down the incline. And I have many fond memories there because Pop had chickens. He had an old rooster that would jump on your back, and we'd scream. We had a lot of fun in our life, especially with Pop. He liked to dance, he liked to sing, and I can remember him taking 2 on each side, our hands, and we'd skip down to Oakley to the Oakley show. We'd see Rin Tin Tin, and we'd see Shirley Temple, and all the way down he'd be singing. And I can remember him he had a little red wagon. We never had a car. Little red wagon, and he'd walk to Hyde Park. They had a store there, and he'd go buy the groceries. And then he'd go to Findlay Market, and he'd buy all of our favorite foods there. Went by bus, you know, Findlay Market. We couldn't wait till he got home with all this stuff. And We had nice Christmases. We never saw our tree until Christmas morning. Mom and Pop would put the tree up and our gifts. And we were lucky to get, one time I remember Pop got me a real pretty bracelet. And we didn't get much because we didn't have much. It was a depression. But we were happy. Oh, Mom was just a doll. She was just sweet. Oh, I remember her sitting with her crochet needles. She made socks by the hundreds. In fact, I still have some. Gave them to all my friends, and she made us hats, those knitted hats. I still got those. I still got a lot of her afghans, and she'd make them, and Shillitoes would buy them. She got $35 for them, and Shillitoes would sell them for about $150, but she was happy with the $35 because it kept her busy. Pop always worked. When he started to work, he worked for LeBlanc's. Then after a while, he got a job at Cincinnati Millicron, and he got 300 watts go through him, kilowatts from electric. He touched something, and they thought he was dead. In fact, they were putting him in the morgue, and he came to, and he got to be okay, but after it went through his leg. He had a big sore out his leg. And I graduated from Withrow High School in 1938. And after that, I got a job. The man next door used to pick me up. We both worked at the Baldwin Piano Company, 30 cents an hour. And I thought that was a lot of money at that time. One day, Johnny Endress, he came to me. He says, I got my girlfriend here from Germany. She doesn't understand a word of English. And he says, I have a fella that works with me. He says, it'll be a blind date, and I would like for you to go so you can talk with my girlfriend. That's how I met Cornelius O'Callahan. Well, I thought he was nice. Well, we went out about 2 years, and we got married on July the 4th. When we were first married, Con already had a two-family apartment building in Hyde Park, and that's where we lived. We lived on the second floor, and we had tenants on the first. And after a while, I guess Marianne was born there, and he liked to be on a farm. I had never even seen a cow in person, just in a book. So it was quite a thing for me. But I learned to milk, I learned to sell milk. We had a pasteurizer, and I would pasteurize the milk and sell it. I used to kill 10 and 12 baby chickens, fryers, take them into Hyde Park. All my neighbors would buy them. And I had the 4 kids in the car with me. Marianne was my first daughter, and then was Dennis, and then was Kevin, and then Terry was the baby. And they were all good children. They all got married and had children of their own. I have a wonderful, wonderful life, and I enjoy every minute of it.